The movie's Legend of Tarzan. It hits theaters coming up this Friday. Samuel L. Jackson, one of the stars of the movies. And he was honored on Sunday night at the BET Awards for 40 years of big screen badassery. The legendary actor was presented with the ceremony's Lifetime Achievement Award by Spike Lee, who called him one of the greatest actors on this God's planet and the hardest working man in show business. Samuel L. Jackson joining us. Sam, how are you this morning?
I'm great. Almost 40 years of badassery.
That's was it more than that?
No, it's way less than that. That would have meant I was in the movie business when I was 20-some years old. I didn't get in the movie business until I was almost 50.
When did you become a badass, though?
I don't know. I guess sometime around Pulp Fiction. Like 20 years ago. Yeah.
Do you still have the wallet from Pulp Fiction?
I never had it. Quentin always did. Quentin had one, and the prop guy had another one. I've been given a couple of them since then, but I never had the one that was actually in the movie. Quentin had it.
What sports? Do you want to talk sports?
Sure, if you want.
What's on your mind? What's sports related that's bothering you, or you're inspired by?
That was bothering me. I'm looking forward to the Olympics. Kind of watching, see if Serena's gonna, win a major this year after all these losses. Kind of paying attention to Wimbledon in that way. Looking forward to football season. All those things.
Who's your team?
I'm looking forward to major stuff. Baseball season's too long for me to keep up with. So sometime around playoff time, I'll start paying attention to baseball.
Who's your football team?
The Falcons until, sometime around mid-season. And then I find somebody else to watch and cheer for.
What kind of athlete were you?
Enjoy the game.
What kind of athlete were you?
I was a decent athlete. I ran track in high school. I was a hurdler, sprinter. And in college, I was on the swimming team for a minute, but decent athlete. I played recreational basketball. Never was good enough to, play on anybody's team or organized ball. But I enjoy sports, and I'm a decent golfer.
I know you love it. But who was the athlete where you, all of a sudden, you said, that's who I'd like to be, or I'd like to do that?
Oh, I don't think I was ever that kind of athlete.
No, not that I am either, Sam, but I thought that.
I mean, everybody wanted to be Ali. Ali was everybody's idol. At a certain point, because he actually represented so much during a time when I was a young man, in terms of politics and athletic ability and charisma, so he was the ideal, but there's no way you could be that. I couldn't anyway, but he was the ideal, if you had to choose one.
Well, you look at these athletes now, and it feels like everybody's an imitator of Ali, obviously to a lesser degree, but when it was happening in real time with Ali, we didn't know what to make of it. Now you feel like these guys that it's sort of orchestrated when they try to do something close.
Well, you guys didn't know what to make of it, or, people in the media or the dominant culture didn't know what to make of it. As, black people and young black men, I never played a game in my life where we didn't talk. When I walked out of the house with my first bag of marbles, people started telling me how they were going to beat me and take my marbles, and I had to talk back to them. We even talked smack and, hide and seek. So it was not an unusual thing for us. It was all of a sudden, it was like, okay, somebody who speaks our language, and you guys couldn't take it.
You're right. I didn't know how to process it. And that's why I think most of white America liked Joe Frazier, because they understood Joe Frazier more than they did Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, and Joe Frazier talked as much as Ali did, but they thought he was humble, because he didn't talk as loud, or he wasn't as quick on his feet as Ali.
We gave a little March Madness feel to your movies, by the way. We were seeding movies that you were in, not your role in it, but the movies. Okay, so we had some trouble here with the number one seed. There was some argument, some good debate here. It was between Goodfellas and Pulp Fiction.
Really?
Now, this isn't your role. It's the movie itself. Now, I fought for Pulp Fiction. I think it's a far better movie than Goodfellas. You have a small role in Goodfellas, but once again, it's not about your role. It's about the movie. So we went.
Okay.
Goodfellas was a number one seed, then Pulp Fiction, then it was Do the Right Thing, True Romance, Coming to America, Jurassic Park, Jungle Fever, Die Hard.
I was about to say Die Hard with a Vengeance wasn't in that.
Yeah, you're an 8 seed at Die Hard.
Oh, no Deep Blue Sea.
Well, we did. If there's a 16-team bracket, then yes, it's in there because I love seeing you get eaten by a shark.
Of course.
How
a
do
lot
you?
of people love that.
But how do you act? I mean, it's not every day that you go, okay, I'm going to get eaten by a shark. Like, how do you prepare for the movie that you're going to get eaten by a dinosaur or a shark?
Well, Rennie told me that was going to happen, so I was looking forward to that. And you know, in Jurassic, I was actually supposed to go to Hawaii and shoot that scene, but there was like a storm went through there and destroyed the set. So I never got to go to Hawaii, so I didn't get to run from the velociraptor and do all the stuff I needed to do. They just showed my arm hanging somewhere and said I was dead. So that doesn't count.
What do you think about
as much as falling out a window in Star Wars? You know.
What do you think of our seedings there? Are you comfortable with Goodfellas at 1, or is Pulp Fiction? Should Pulp Fiction be 1?
I put Pulp Fiction at 1, and maybe Jackie Brown or Django in that, you know. And also, I mean, my favorite movie that, you know, should be on that list is Long Kiss Goodnight.
And Snakes on a Plane.
It's even better. Well, Snakes on a Plane is like, that would be like the 16th seed. That's a total long shot.
We're talking to Samuel L. Jackson. The movie is The Legend of Tarzan. Do you want to give us the synopsis here on the movie?
Yeah. This is somewhat of an origin story. You get a lot of the origin of Tarzan in terms of his relationship to the ape community he was raised in, and how that transpired. He's living in England when we meet him in this film, and he's encouraged to go back by my character, who's a real historic figure named George Washington Williams, to expose King Leopold's atrocities in the jungle, because he's trying to borrow money from the Queen of England, and he's trying to prevent him from getting that money and exposing, you know, the slavery and the Holocaust that he's creating there. So he convinces Tarzan to go back to help him do that. And in the midst of that, you know, Jane gets kidnapped and Tarzan becomes Tarzan again.
I didn't know that Tarzan's real name was John Clayton, and I always think of John Clayton from ESPN, their NFL insider. So
exactly. Well, that's the whole thing, too. And we always thought he was just Lord Greystoke, right?
Yeah. Now I find out his name is John Clayton III. There's so many random things that I read about you. Were you an usher at Martin Luther King Jr.'s funeral?
Yes, I was.
And
I happened to be, well, I was a student at Morehouse College at the time, and they had the funeral on campus. So they asked people to volunteer to help people find their way when they came to the funeral on campus. So I was one of those people.
You're 19 at the time? 18, 19?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You understand the magnitude, I'm sure, of it, but to be able to be an usher, I mean, that's surreal.
Well, that was the day after. Well, actually, Robert Culp and Bill Cosby actually rented a plane, and they flew a bunch of us to Memphis. We marched with the Garbage Men the day before, and then flew back and did that the next day.
Were you in acting at that time?
Yes, I had just started in the theater department.
Oh, yeah. Before I let you go, your thoughts on Pat Summitt? I know you being a Tennessean.
Oh man, you know how awesome Pat Summitt was, and the amount of pride she brought to the state of Tennessee and to women's sports in particular. You know, she was a hard taskmaster, but a wonderful friend to those girls, a wonderful mentor. I met her a couple times when I was hosting the ESPYs, and when she would come to the ESPYs. The mark that she made on the game and the influence of getting women through a particular glass ceiling and creating opportunities for a lot of coaches, women coaches now, and setting a standard will be hard to be beaten by anyone. But thank God she did it, and it's a shame that at the end of her life was what it is. My mother had Alzheimer's, so I understand that totally, and I understand how our family must have, felt going through it, and how I felt watching her and listening to people talk about it. But she's one in a million, guaranteed. There are a lot of things that she did that won't be surpassed or need to be emulated by a lot of people.
A final question. Could you beat Tiger Woods in golf right now?
I might have a shot. I beat him once a long time ago, but I might have a shot now.
Wait.
I beat him once when I was like a 16.
Wait, so how many shots did he give you?
Yeah, they give me all my 16 shots.
Okay.
The first time I played St. Andrews, I actually played with Tiger when the Dunhill Cup was actually an international competition. So the first day I played with him. The second day I played with Daly. But the day I played with him, he said, "Follow me." I was a 16. I shot 78. He shot even par.
Oh,
I win.
Man. Wow. You can hold that above him forever.
I do.
Did you play Jordan?
I've played with Mike and Chuck a few times.
Well, you can beat Chuck.
Yeah.
Does Mike talk trash to you?
Yes, he does. He had a mind. He and Ahmad woke me up one morning and made me get up in London, and we went out and played together. I beat those guys with some rental clubs that day.
Wow. Look at you. Hey, Sam,
man.
Great to talk to you. Good luck with the movie, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right.
See you soon, I hope.
All right, Samuel L. Jackson.
The Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings on Audience.